In this video, which is one of a series of sneak peek videos for LAGAN Enterprise version 9, which is coming out in May 2013, we're going to show you the change case type feature, or reclassify case feature, which supports a number of important use cases or business processes that our customers face today. Specifically, this relates to either the scenario where either an agent or a citizen on the web or a citizen using a mobile, for whatever reason, specifies the wrong classification when creating a case, and this drives a lot of issues downstream. Imagine, for example, a scenario where an agent or a customer on the web reports a faulty street light, but actually it's a faulty traffic light. That actually is typically handled by different departments, which have different SLAs, and of course all sorts of problems occur if you're setting the wrong SLA for something being handled by a different department. So the requirement there is for the back office department, or the front office, in fact, if they realise they've made the mistake, to be able to change that case type so that the correct SLA can be worked against. So that's the main business process that we're looking to solve with change case type. Let's now look at how we support that in LAGAN Enterprise version 9. So with all these sneak peek demonstrations that we're doing, we are showing you product that's unfinished. This is LAGAN Enterprise version 9, due to be released in May. And at the time of shooting this, it's just the 1st of March. So you will see some stuff that's a bit rough around the edges, but hopefully you'll still get value out of seeing the new features in their perhaps rawest form. So let's start with the creating a case in the agent desktop. So I'm just going to do this using the standard features without using any scripting, but it will work with that as well. Let's pick classify a case as lighting fault. So we have a form that's created behind, the standard case form is created here, a new case form is shown. Again, you might not see that in your typical implementations because you're using scripting, which bypasses this and goes directly to the E form, which is what we get next. So here's the E form. Again, this is unstyled, and I kind of explained that at the beginning. It's a development system. So I'm just going to click past that, and you'll see here the basic fields you might have in a form. So we're populating that, hitting submit, and we're done. So we've created a case in the agent desktop. There it is. It's got a classification of lighting fault, and as far as the agent's concerned in this scenario, we're done. But the problem is they've classified it incorrectly. Now, who knows this? Who finds that? Who can work this out? Well, typically it's the back office find this out. So let's look at what the back office can now do. So we'll switch here to agent desktop light. We'll go back and do a case search, and here we are. This is the case we just created. So the scenario would be, if we see all that, the scenario would be the back office look at it, they drill into it, they look at all the details that's being provided, including the E form, and they look at that, and based on the information they realise actually it's not a lighting fault, it's something completely different. So they have to reclassify it. Now previously you couldn't do that, but now they can. So let's look at how they do that. So we now have a reclassify option in Agent Desktop Lite. Now this is only available to those who are permitted to do it, so you can actually withhold or hide that feature. That's quite important, and you'll see there's other places you can do this too, and you can hide it there as well. Let's reclassify. So again, this is a familiar screen that you will be used to in Agent Desktop Lite. You can reclassify it to any other type. So we're going to change it to a complaint. And again, I'll just change the resolution of that for a second. Again, you can change any of the original details. But let me draw your attention to this. So this new type has got an E form, but we also use a case form. Maybe one of the less well-known features of version 8 and version 9 is that you can associate both a case form and an E form with one case instance. So in this example, it's showing the new case form fields. The previous classification didn't have a case form, so there's no previous details. If there had, you would see the previous details as well, and you can copy and paste those across to the new case form. I'm just going to populate the mandatory fields here and then reclassify, and it's now changed to the new type. But something else here, so we've got, again, this is a development system, and for complaint we've got a lost dog form associated with it. So which doesn't really make sense, but anyway, hopefully it illustrates the point. What's happened here is we've protected, or we've restored the previous eForm. It's maintained for integrity, and we can bring that up and see it and look at it, and it's got all the previous details. But we've also added this automatically, this new eForm, which is associated with the new case type. And again, this is it here, and we can edit that as well if we wish. And that's really important. So we protected the previous form, and we've added a new form as well based on the current, the new classification. So that's the change case type scenario. The other thing to look at here is that we've got a contact history that shows that the event was in fact reclassified. You can just see that there to my left. So you can report on reclassified cases, and we've got the previous eForm and of course the new eForm shown there as well. In this scenario, we didn't show the what happens to the case form for those that use case forms. Most customers use eForms now. So let's do that very quickly. So if we had a case form here and we have one on this one, what would happen to that? How do we maintain that? So if we reclassify this back to lighting fill, and we'll just take the default details. You've got the old classification form data here, but there's no new case form for this case type, so we'll just reclassify that. And there's no new eForm because we're using the previous eForm, which is another interesting feature that we've maintained, but you can still edit that. So we've now got something interesting here. We've stored the previous contents of the case form here as well, because whilst we can keep previous versions of eForms, we can't keep, the way we keep previous versions of case forms is this way. So if you click on that, we have an RTF version of the previous case form for history. And there we go. There we go. So we keep that as well. So my history is maintained. So in that scenario, we're showing, showing how a business process reclassify case would work, where an agent is classifying a case, but they've done it incorrectly for whatever reason, and it's actually the back office in this scenario that works it out. And that's quite a common use case for our customers, which is why we support that particular scenario. Okay, so we have some other reclassify features as well, which is worth mentioning. So in the agent desktop, you can also reclassify cases as well, where the agent realizes he made a mistake. So you've got an option here, reclassify case. Again, like agent desktop, like this can be withheld if you don't want certain agents doing it. So if we reclassify that, this is the same case we created originally as lighting fault, then changed to complaint, then changed back to lighting fault. So we can change that back to complaint. In fact, let me just do it this way here. Okay, there we go, and there's the case form again, exactly the same scenario, just looks a little bit different on the screen. We click OK, and then we've got it reclassified, and there we go. And if we want to, we can go into the form and edit that as well according to the new scenario, which is lost dog. So we've got a lost dog eForm. It is a development system, I did say so. Associated with this case, we've gone back to that, and we've now got that eForm. You'll note that what we don't do is keep storing similar versions of the same eForm. So once an eForm's been added, we only keep one copy of that. We're working with a number of our customers on this, and that was the decision we took based on customer feedback. So that's reclassify case within an agent desktop, and of course, probably covered all this now, but agent desktop, like, you can also create cases and then reclassify. We've shown the reclassified piece as well. Okay, and the final part of this reclassify feature is that we allow users to reclassify via web service. And of course, this is important for the use case where we pass cases to a back office system, and then the users of that back office system realize the case has been misclassified, and they need to be able to reclassify using their system, but then that invokes a web service into our system. And again, we have quite a few customers who have that specific use case, and of course now you can do that with this web service. What you're seeing here is a SOAP UI application that allows you to invoke web services in a test situation or a development situation. We've loaded up the WSDL, which is the web services, or definition of all the web services in version 9 here on the right. For those with an eagle eye, you know this is actually quite a lot more web services in version 9, something you should look into in the upcoming release notes if you're interested. But we've selected the Reclassify case here in the middle here. And what we're doing is we're taking an existing case, which I'll show you in a minute, which is a case reference ending in 225. We've got an event code ending in 7, which represents the new case type that we want to change it to. And those that have created cases or configured cases in LAGAN Enterprise will be familiar with the concept of case classification and a corresponding event mapping code. And that's what that is. We're going to change the title from whatever it is to Sneak Peek Demonstration, and also the description to Sneak Peek Demonstration of LAGAN Web Services dash Reclassify case, and you'll see why I'm saying that in a minute. Let's look at the case, which again is ending in 225. So let's just go to that. Here we go. So this is it. It's currently sitting at request for service or a complaint, and we're going to change that to lighting fault. The title is another test, and testing using SOAP UI as a description. Again, development system, and this is development test data. So let's change the case classification then via a web service using SOAP UI. So we'll do that. So we've got this request pre-built here a moment ago. Let's just run that. And there we go, there's the response. Let's now go back and check the impact on the actual case. If I refresh that, you'll see that the type has changed, classification has changed now to lighting fault, and the type has changed to Sneak Peek Demonstration, and the description to the one ending in Reclassify case. And again, the history has been updated as well, with this last event representing the web service Reclassify test. And it was against the test name, LAGAN test, that I used from the SOAP UI interface, which I'll just show that as well, which is here. So the username that we used was, you can just see it there, LAGAN test. And there you go. Actually, I just realized I made a little mistake there. I picked the last event in this page of this case. It's the same case, 225. You can look at the date and time and so on there as well. But the eagle-eyed of you might have said there's noticed that the date and time was actually before March, because it's March 1st when we're recording this. And it's because I didn't go to the last event. Let me go to the last event, because this is the one we use often for testing, and developers use often for testing. And this is the event that was just created here, March 1st, 10:41, and that's the one that represents the web service call, which was now 2 minutes ago. So what you've seen in this sneak peek video is LAGAN Enterprise version 9 and change case type or reclassified case as possible through the Agent Desktop, formerly Enterprise Workstation, through the Agent Desktop Lite user interface, formerly Virtual Office, and also through the LAGAN Web Services interfaces, all of which are available in version 9 coming soon, May 2013.